today's battle, well, first, we have Francesca today. Chiara moved to the other room, so Francesca will help us. She's a very ICT skilled person, but she started as a sociologist. So for today's battle, we think it's very, I would say, good to have some discussion on sociological aspect, which is also something that we introduced while discussing this battle. Today's battle is on Amazon. This was already anticipated. We will have two views on Amazon. If you recall a couple of lessons ago, we discussed, for example, I discussed on venture financing the strong growth of Amazon. It was the example I took in order to explain the venture financing. How a company starts from scratch. A person that asks 200,000 euros to his family, and after some 20 years, this company is one of the biggest of the world. So that is the element of the venture capital, or the strong growth that some digital startups have had in the last years. But there is also the discussion that we had with Lorenzo last week, which was based on ethics and social entrepreneurship or social innovation. So how the innovation is able to, I would say, to consider human aspect. So this battle, in fact, will show these two faces of Amazon. One will try to support how Amazon is already working very good. The other maybe will mostly say that Amazon needs to improve. And at the end, you will need to some sort of debate with them, but at the end decide what the future or what we see as our future of Amazon. So this is the matter of the battle. The introduction was a bit longer than the other ones, but the two teams they had also a confrontation with Lorenzo and with the teaching team on how to fine-tune this battle. So not to make it too boring, because everyone is using Amazon. Some people has good idea of Amazon, some other has not. But just to try to conceive what is the human aspect that we should consider within Amazon, and the future of Amazon on human centricity on that. So I wish the two battlers good luck. I don't know if the two critical mind has anything to add on this. No? Then we would start with voila. Welcome. We will start with them. Yes. So good luck, and you have 15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I start right now?
When you want.
Okay.
You have 15 minutes from when you start.
Okay. Hello. My team is supporting the sustainability of Amazon. So I will start with a brief introduction of what Amazon is. So Amazon was founded in 1994, and in just 20 years it became the worldwide market leader for e-commerce. It defined a completely new experience that is not comparable to the ones of physical retail shops. It's fast, it's more efficient, and it's just at the tip of your fingers. You can use it with your smartphone. The most known features of Amazon are probably the one-click button, which was invented in 1994, and the Amazon Prime services. So with these technologies, it's now possible to order whatever you want and get it wherever you want with just one button. Okay. So I would like to ask if any of you in the audience ever used Amazon or know what Amazon is. If you can please raise your hands. Okay, so I see most of you know what Amazon is. So let's talk about a bit the user experience. So, okay. Amazon made possible what in the past was impossible, and that is the true meaning of innovation. And Amazon offers countless advantages for the user. So I would like to point out some of the most important. So you have free and fast shipping. So you just order whatever you want, and it arrives to you even in the same day. So now I'm trying to order something on Amazon. Let's see how hard it is. So I'm just opening the app of Amazon. You see it? So now I'm just ordering from my basket. Okay, I just placed an order. Let's see how long it takes for this order to arrive. Then we have a wide range of products. So you have most of what you need at a very competitive pricing. And even if you're not buying anything from us, you can just simply read the reviews and decide to buy wherever you want the product. So if you want to go in a physical shop, you just go. It's not a problem for us. Okay. Amazon has been criticized in the past by some of their employees about their working environment, and as every good company, Amazon is trying to address the issues. So here I brought a real example of what Amazon is doing. So a few months ago, Amazon opened a new warehouse in Essex, United Kingdom, where they're trying to apply these new policies. So, okay, so here you see a picture of the warehouse. So Amazon is implying a lot of new technology, as in every product they do, even in the warehouse. So they are adding a lot of automation to help the workers, and this has many advantages. Some of them are that employees have less probability to get injured because they have to work less around the facility, and they also have a more efficient workflow. Another big issue that Amazon had was the seasonal peak demand. So during, for example, Black Friday or Christmas events, they had much more orders. So to address this issue, Amazon is hiring thousands of seasonal workers. So even this issue has been addressed. And to prove to all the customers of Amazon that this is true, they're opening the warehouse to visitors, so you can just go there and see how the working environment is. Amazon is also very focused on environmental problems, so they have a big responsibility with the world. So from an ethical point of view, they are working to become as sustainable as possible, also for the environment. And they announced a commitment which is called the Climate Pledge, where they have some goals to achieve. So they say that by 2030 they will use only renewable energy, and by 2040 they will have a zero carbon impact on the world. And to do so, they are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this kind of project is only possible for very big companies. And some of the activities they are doing is buying electric vehicles to do their job, and also a huge number of reforestation projects to reduce the carbon impact. Okay. So now I will invite my colleague to continue with the topics.
Hello everyone, are you still functional? Yeah, I can see some 500 arrows over there. Okay, basically we are talking about ethical issues. So one of the most ethical issues of the year, antitrust. Who knows what is exactly antitrust? Nobody knows? 1, 2, that's good. Maybe you can visit the class. Okay, so let's start with the boring history. Basically, it started in 1819 when the big companies start to create a trust with each other and try to remove the other competitors. So basically, they have money, they have power, they can do that. So what happened? The first appearance of the act, basically lawyers try to stop companies from doing that, the Sherman Act. It was the first law that prevent companies to create trust with each other, to remove the other competitors. Then, in the 1940, the companies, basically big companies, find the other way. Instead of creating trust, they try to merge with each other. So basically, they can buy other companies. Now they are only one company is basically have only the market. So the second act appeared, the Clayton Act, in the 1940, and basically the main goal of this act was preventing companies to doing such a thing. And at the same time, the FTC, Federal Trade Commissions, start to appear, and the main goal was observing the behaviors of the big companies, basically big companies, to not let them do such a thing. And after a while, in 1930, near 1913, the Robinson-Patman Acts appeared. Basically, the problem was the little shops or retailers cannot do such a thing. So they cannot compete with the big company because they will put a huge discounts on their product. So nobody can compete with them. So FTC, or basically lawyers, introduced the Robinson-Patman Acts. And then in the near 1918, the first big company like AT&T started doing such acts, but FTC destroyed AT&T. And the last huge antitrust issue was in 1919, and government sued the Microsoft for antitrust issue. But we can say at that moment, the companies don't want to do something against the laws because they know the government has the full power. These laws want them to do such a thing. So basically, it's not on the paper, but big companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and other companies try to be more ethical, not to use their power to do something against the law. So basically, when you hear something about the antitrust issues with these big companies, for me it's just a hyper-realism. It means that it's some things that the TVs or some other powers wants to say because they cannot prove. Basically, the companies are not doing such a thing. If there are many competitors with these big companies, many lawyers that want to sue them because of these antitrust issues, but they can't because they are not breaking the law anymore. It's related to the ethical views of the companies. We can see some policies, price policies that change through the time because the companies, if they feel that they are somehow breaking the fairness in the competitions, they will change their laws or policies. For example, price limitation. Basically, you cannot buy very expensive things on Amazon. If the price of the product is more than $10,000, Amazon don't want to put it in their site. Basically, it's not interested in those kinds of the market. The second, price parity policy and fair pricing policy. In the past, this act said that if you want to sell your products in the website, it's better to sell cheaper than the other website, but it's exactly against the law. So they removed this, and you can now sell everything on the website at any price you want. But there is other policy in the Amazons that said if you are selling in the higher price, it means that you won't get in the top of the sellers. So basically, the competition is between the sellers, not between the Amazon and the other competitors. And the price matching abolition, it was about if you find something cheaper in the other website, Amazon will give you a discount, so you can buy it on the Amazon at the same price, but Amazon will pay the difference between that. So they just removed this because of the antitrust issue. The Amazon effects. Now we can see actually Amazon started the technology that many retailer or other mini companies are using it. For example, a Kruger. Kruger is a grocery chain shops that using Amazon platform, not exactly the same, something similar to Amazon platform to selling the products. So why they are using this? Because they know by using the technology they can optimize the user experience, they can use the data of the people to give them more options and make the life easier. The main goal of the technology is making the life easier. So basically, it means that Amazon is evolving every other aspects of the human life. Basically, it's like a revolution inside people's brain. The little shops are even digitalizing because of the Amazons somehow. But that's not bad, because the technology is going to make the life easier. So I want to thank you all for listening to this presentation, and thank you.
Good. You saved more than 2 minutes. Very good. Your turn. You can.
Oh, my package. It's me.
Can you sign here, please?
Okay. Thank you. You see how fast is Amazon?
Very efficient. Can we unplug?
Yes.
Yes. Dietro c'è da USB è del mouse, non del vediamo se Whose is this? Is it yours? Questo qua era qua? Sì, sì, è nostro. Ah, è vostro.
Sì, sì, è mio.
Non occorre che li avviti, basta
No,
solo
ok,
che
finiamo semplicemente in
dopo ci mettiamo. Lo vede in automatico.
In teoria si è configurato qua.
È lui il Mac Man?
No, sì, ma non lo so.
Prendiamo il mio PC.
Sì, si è configurato semplicemente non.
Vedo che le mie in automatico.
Sì, ma infatti si è configurato, non si chiama. Prendi il. Se vedi là.
Io non lo vedo uscire.
Tu
Allora, le mie dai.
Devi prendere il coso. Devi prendere il. Aspetta che vada. Vediamo. Conviene. Aspetta. Digli contro, questo qui è un coso, quindi questo lo sappiamo di più.
Però senza controllo.
ok.
Quindi io.
Perfetto.
Non vale anche questo?
Ah, ok,
Partito. Ok, a questo punto. Ok, avvia presentazione. Ci siamo.
Okay. Finally, we got it. Okay. Try to not cover up the slide. Good afternoon, everyone. We are on the unsustainable side of Amazon. We have a little disclaimer. First, here we have a paste bin. You can copy. We have all the reference to our slide. Maybe at the end of the slide I will re-put it back, so you can go on. Okay. Now, we want to do a little disclaimer. Basically, we love Amazon. We use it every day, and we know how strong the user experience that it's offered is good. But we want to go a little bit deeper. We want to analyze it under the skin, and as I spoil it to you, we have a little game to play. You probably played it when you were younger. Maybe you play it still today. I don't know. It's not about who is the Pokemon, but who is that company. Okay. Here we have some hints. The first is that its owner is the most rich, is the richest guy in the world. Then it held more than 50% of its market share on the market where it operates. And lastly, it has been under investigation for some unfair market strategy. Do you have any clues about the company that I'm talking about?
Microsoft.
No, it's not Microsoft. It's a nice try, but it's the Standard Oil Company of the United States of America. Okay, it's a company that has been founded in the 17th century. Okay, and it was operating in the oil market, of course. They didn't extract oil, but they owned the refinery. And let's proceed with the checks. Basically, the owner was J.D. Rockefeller, and he was the richest guy in the world at this time. Then, unfair market policies. The Federal Trade Commission, the state of Ohio, and the Department of Justice sued the company for unfair practices to the other competitors. They also condemned the company, but we will see it later. Then it held more than 50% of the market share. It held even more. It held the 90% of all the refinery in the North America. They basically built a monopoly on this. They started as a small company and they did really cheap offers. But then they conquered all the dominance in the market and they decided basically forcing the prices of buying raw materials and selling refined products. Well, this is interesting, but why are we talking about Standard Oil Company? Well, we can find a little pattern between Amazon and the Standard Oil Company. Okay? Let's see. First, but the owner was the richest guy in the world. We know Jeff Bezos. Actually, Bill Gates has been stated like a week ago, the richest guy in the world. It's always a competition, but this doesn't matter really for our interest. More interesting is the under investigation for unfair market policies. Well, Amazon has been under investigation, and it's still under investigation for predatory pricing, which is a practice of flooding the market with under-cost products in order to kill the competition, sustaining, of course, small-term losses. Okay, basically they're selling below the cost. Okay, in order to kill the competition. Then, competition manipulation. Many third-party resellers has been forced to use Amazon logistics system, paying, of course, a high fee, in order to stay on the Amazon market. If they didn't, they would have been removed from the Amazon marketplace. Lastly, alleged use of legal loopholes to pay less taxes. Well, this is alleged, and they did nothing illegal, of course, because we have loopholes. But, Amazon is paying, has paid from 2007 to 2015 more than half of the taxes paid by every SP 500 company in the US. SP 500 are the 500 most bigger companies of the US, United States of America, and is redacted by the Standard & Poor. This is an analysis did by Standard & Poor, which are really trustful. And for example, last year they pay $0 in federal taxes for the product they sold on the United States. I mean, I paid more taxes than them, so there must be something wrong about it. Lastly, we have the market share. Well, this is an estimation made in 2017 about the market share owned by Amazon in 2018. You can see it is this one. It's 41%. Okay. So in 2017, Amazon was expected to own 41% of the market where it operates. Well, data shows that it had the 49.1%. We have no data about 2019, of course, because we are in 2019 and the year has yet to end. But in this graph, we can see eBay. eBay is the silver medal of the online retails, which has the 6.6 quota of market share compared to 49.1%. So yeah, we can say that Amazon is a little bit dominating the market right now. This is, of course, for all the good service. You have seen how fast the packet was given to our mate, and for the low prices that relatively offer to the public. Well, how can Amazon do and apply this strategy? Well, here we have a graph that shows the net sales and the net income. Basically, they're paying all the cents they are earning to offer good services, really good services, keeping high standards and low prices. We can see that in 2018 they sold 232 billions of dollars value in dollars of product, and the income of Amazon was 10 billions. 10 billions in total, because if you remove all the other service, which, for example, AWS is 7 billion, we have a ratio between the net sales and the net income on the sales of 1.2, which is, of course, really low. As we saw in class, at some point, if you have an enterprise, you have to generate profit. I don't know if you remember the curve. Why are they not earning profits right now? Because they are trying to kill the concurrence. They are trying to kill the competition and became the leader of the market. Well, what we are not paying right now for the service that Amazon offers, we are going to pay it in the future with more and more interest. Because, of course, in a monopoly that you cited with the antitrust, in a monopoly there are no rules, and the enterprise can do whatever she wants. Well, I let the Standard Oil apart, but how did it end with the Standard Oil? Well, this is how they represented Standard Oil in 1911, I think. It's like an octopus which is controlling everything. The Justice Department of the United States split the Standard Oil in 34 different companies in order to try to establish somehow a fair market in the oil field. Basically, this was possible because 100 years ago, the market of where Standard Oil was operating was somehow limited, and they were caring just about oil. Okay, but the market where Amazon operates, as we know, are hundreds. They're really operating more or less every market that we can see. So basically, now splitting a company like Amazon will be impossible. I mean, we think will be impossible, because for establish a fair competition, you will have to split it in like thousands and thousands of companies. Well, this is important to us to show, because if they stop the Standard Oil, doesn't mean that we could stop Amazon. If they grow too much and they became a monopoly, which is the policy they are trying to get, it will be a great problem for the people who lives here. And lastly, even the President Donald Trump got that Amazon is a little problem. Now I will let my pal continue with a little story that you will like.
Okay, let's start with a little story. This is Alice, and this is Bob. Alice has to go to a Hawaiian beach party, and since she likes hats very much, she wants to buy a new hat to wear at the party. She knows Amazon to be very good, to be very reliable, and to have good prices. So she goes on Amazon, and she searches a hat. She finds a hat she likes. She checks the price. The price is good. She orders it. She's very lucky. With Amazon Prime, she receives it in under 24 hours, as we have seen. She's happy, very happy, but she can stop herself to think, how can Amazon do it? How can Amazon provide such good services at such low prices? Enters Bob. Bob is a normal guy, except he works for Amazon. He works in one of the 100 different warehouses Amazon owns around the world. At the beginning, he was very happy about it. During his first meeting with the manager, he received a GPS tracking device. The managers also told him to always wear it, and to always keep it on, or he could be fired. Bob wasn't sure this was a legal policy. I mean, tracking a person, even if at work, continuously is borderline illegal. But he told himself, I have nothing to hide, I don't care. At the end of his first day, he again was contacted by the manager that told him to come 30 minutes before schedule the next morning. He thought, oh great, for sure I have done a great impression. This will be for sure about some important meeting to update me about some company policy. The next morning, unfortunately, he was very shocked in discovering that Amazon was requiring him to come earlier, only because Amazon had started to enforce a new security practice that stated that every employee had to be body scanned while entering and leaving the offices. The problem with this is that these practices required 30 minutes every time an employee had to enter and leave the offices. And of course, these were not working hours. These were not working minutes. They were not paid, and Bob was not getting compensated. Bob again endured it, and also took the opportunity to talk with other Amazon employees. But no one was in the mood for that. Everyone told him to shut up and be fast, because he had quotas to fulfill, and if he did not fulfill these quotas, he could be fired. Again, Bob endured it because he needed the monies for his family, and he finds consolation in thinking of the wage he will receive at the end of the month. Again, at the end of the month, he was let down by Amazon because he received barely the minimum required by law. With time, new problems started to arise, such as the noise. In the warehouse, Bob was forced to wear his own headset in order to shield his ears from the noise generated by the machines. Another problem that arose was the pain. Lifting heavy boxes and walking for miles and miles every day started to take their tolls on Bob's body. And so Bob had to rely on painkillers that luckily Amazon provided him for free. You can think that this story is completely invented by me. Okay. You could think that this story is completely invented by me, but there are also in reality hundreds and hundreds of different articles that speak about it. Some statistics: 81% of the ex-workers of Amazon would not apply for a job at Amazon ever again. 55% suffer from depression since they started to work at Amazon. 42% had witnessed bullying or harassment in their warehouse. Amazon does not care about about their working environments, and it only reacts when the press starts to cover its abuses. An example is and as an example, it has happened 1 year ago when they increased their wages. They increased their wages only because the press discovered that the employee that work in the Amazon warehouses had to rely on the Supplemental Nutritional System program, a program of the United States government, to get food. So I don't know you, but I don't think a sustainable company should behave like this. Thank you.
Okay, a few seconds more, but it was okay. So,
Did he die after that? He got cancer maybe even after?
What?
He got cancer after this also? If you want to add something?
Well, let me answer you. We have published a document stating all our sources at the beginning of our presentation. You can check every single source. You haven't presented a single source.
We have all the sources.
Yeah,
Also,
you haven't
so
gave
it's
them
not
to us.
something special.
Yeah, okay. I could say
You're not special because
well,
you have
okay.
sources.
I could have said Jeff Bezos if they use it.
okay, I think the discussion already started, so, which is
Can we
good.
have the sources?
Yes.
Checking sources. So there was the link, so anyone can check them. I would start, well, I think critical minded was really some question. We wanted to start also from the audience, but please, go ahead.
It's just like really basic, and I think they will provide me a really short answer, I guess. I mean, why did any Bob in this world don't go for another job?
Because there are not so many job opportunities.
Where?
A low-skilled worker in an age where technology is taking over has not so many working opportunities, and so he has to stick with what he can.
You can't rely on the fact that people need work to treat them badly.
Yeah, but it's not like that. I mean, the unemployment rate I don't know where the story comes from, but in the unemployment rate in, like, I don't know, Western Europe and the United States is under 3%. So
Yeah, okay, but
I don't think that in Italy is that low, and in any other country in Europe. So basically,
that's not only that. But should a sustainable and good company rely on such thinking? I mean,
go on.
I have an.
I think we need light.
Can we?
I mean, on the internet you find whatever you want. It's not the point of having a link. I mean, you can find anything.
Yeah, I think that the Guardian is pretty reliable as a source.
Or the New York Times or the Washington
This
Post.
is a pastebin link. You know, you just type on pastebin this and you get it.
I want to say something about this question. He was asking why would Bob look for another job?
yeah.
Like, it's always so hectic for you to start looking for another job. For meantime, as Bob was working with Amazon, he always hoped for good. He was always hopeful. Amazon being one of the biggest, he already thought he would get the best services. So the first time maybe he would fall sick was like, no, I think maybe it's just the sickness, that the pay will be better. To his disappointment, when the pay comes, it's also worse. So as time goes on, you realize that Bob might even look for even another job. Bob will look for another job, but he has already gotten an impact on his life. Maybe he got an injury that will never heal, and he didn't get any help. So at the end of the day, I don't think the company would really base on satisfying consumers and they're not doing anything about its workers. It's really unfair.
And what you're talking about is partially true, because Amazon has made some new projects. When I talked about automation, they are offering training programs for their employees so they can improve their skills and have a better career. So what you are saying is a very sad story, but it's not completely true. Because if you want to proceed in your career in Amazon, you have the possibility to do it. You can acquire technical skills and have a higher ranking in the job. But if you want to stay all your life doing packets, I think you deserve to get only the minimum wage, I think. If you don't want to improve in the company, you don't add value to the company. So why would you get the $10,000 for what?
Audience, please speak on this. Anyone willing to intervene? Do you think it's easy to find another place to work apart from going to Amazon if you are not so skilled? What's your opinion?
How many of you have worked here in their lives? Okay. How many of you did work for Amazon? None of you. So there are many jobs.
I'm sorry. That's quite a shortcut.
Then you are more skilled. So.
I mean, you're right saying that a not skilled worker cannot require a very high wage. But do you agree with me that painkillers, that low skilled worker should not be forced to have to keep to?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I agree with you. Yes, I agree. Okay. But
is this behavior that a sustainable and good company should have?
As I said in the presentation, this was an issue, and it has been greatly solved by hiring seasonal workers. So the problem was that there was too much. There were too many orders for the number of people that were working. So to do this, to solve this problem, they are hiring, especially for these people. So the workload is divided to more people during the.
I get it, but if this is, I trust, but why did Amazon put vending machine with give free painkillers? If this was completely addressed in this way, I mean, can you imagine the cost of putting vending machine just for painkillers?
Okay, my interpretation is different than yours. Maybe you are saying basically they put painkillers in the
vending machine.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so how do you know that working pressure caused this? Maybe lots of people are in there.
I mean, the data we brought are mostly brought by journalists that made themselves hired by Amazon to test on their skin what's like to work in a warehouse. It's about that. I mean, I didn't check that they have vending machine, but
okay, but we can still say that maybe the other companies have warehouse and they do not put the vending machines on there, but maybe the people that are working needs that vending machines. It doesn't mean that working condition is
do you
very
think that's
bad
fair
for that.
for them to need painkillers?
And how many warehouses have that vending machine? How many Amazon warehouses?
I think that just one would be enough.
How many? Okay, one in how many?
Do you realize that they to work they have to take painkillers? I mean, I don't think that you really.
I agree with you, but as I said,
just one is enough. Just one is too much.
Okay, but
We also have a comment from.
Yeah, I'm not totally convinced about what you are saying, especially when you talk about people with no skill, less skill, apply to Amazon because, I mean, or this or that. And neither to the fact of the human body work for Amazon and so on, no problem at all. Because, I mean, in the moment that I'm pushed to work at least, I'm going to apply even for the worst job in this world since the moment that they are paying me. This is not a justification about the fact that the welfare of the company for which I'm working is so limited and so low. But on the other side, I want to ask you a question, and is what happens if Amazon decide to solve this problem by, let's say, automate all the process of packaging using machine? Because doing this, they cut the problem.
Yeah,
so we don't have any more the problem of the work.
I mean, we thought about that, but in the point that they will at least get the idea to do it, I think that it's a reasonable discussion, because right now they still rely very much on human work, and for a work that should be so automatic, like the packaging thing and stuff. Yeah, if it was convenient to them, I think that they would have already at least started to recapitalize all the warehouses to work in this manner.
Yes, they are doing this.
They're doing.
Yes, you see my slide.
The story of the painkillers and that are from like last year, the year before.
They are not.
Yes, but they are improving on this side. So we know that it's working for a company that grows this fast in this short time will lead to situations that are difficult to handle. But what we showed you is that Amazon is.
But what Amazon showed us is that they don't address anything until a bad story comes out. That's the point.
Well, if you want to find bad stories, I'm sure you will find them, but I mean, Amazon has thousands of employees, so if you get...
And hundred thousand of bad stories, that's the point.
Yes, sure. No, I think that there are bad stories, but as in any big company. So you cannot say that a company is bad just because you read some bad stories. I mean, there are bad stories everywhere in any company.
Well, we are arguing about Amazon being good and sustainable, or not good, and not good or not sustainable. The fact that you say other company could do the same, it's true, but this does not wash away the behavior of Amazon. I mean, putting vending machines in warehouses, I mean, what kind of behavior is that? It's of course it's not behavior that a sustainable company would have.
I have a question related to this human robot thing, and also the fact that Amazon, also last year, there was this article in the New York Times about the wrist bracelets, which were tracking people, and if they were tracking, what were they doing? So is this also sustainable, like tracking people, and if they were taking a break which was too long because maybe they were tired, just making this bracelet give them I don't know, thrill or something?
You know, in the artificial intelligence, it's basically, let me say it the other way. There are lots of topics in artificial intelligence like fraud detection. Basically, you are using AI to find who is cheating. So you are doing this by observing the behavior of that person. So if you are questioning this, it means that you are questioning the technology. Is it sustainable to using the data of the people, or capture all the data of the people to do the thing to answer these questions? So maybe it's somehow related to that, but have they done it or not?
They did. They put these bracelets on the people, which...
Okay, you know, every new technology will bring many questions to the area. So basically nobody can answer all of the questions before appearance of that.
No, but wouldn't expect that from a company, a big company like Amazon, that you really think would provide better services. First of all, when I am surveyed, like they see whatever I do, that means you're encroaching on the privacy of humans. And that means someone won't work freely. At the end of the day, yes, I'm working, but I'm insecure. Am I safe? Maybe the next time I get out to take a break, I'll be fired. So I'm just imagining how you can even work in such an environment.
I also can't imagine like staying there if it's like in hell and not like living
I have to
for another
sustain
job.
my family. I have to sustain life.
Yeah,
so I
there's a lot
have
of
to work
social
for
help.
that sake.
I mean,
By the
it's
end of the day, I'm not comfortable with whatever I'm doing.
Francesca, sorry.
Extra question. We talk about workers, we talk about improving technology, and for example, the tracking system, we said that it's about improving a system and doing something better. So in the long run, we lose it. So how many of you do have an Alexa device at home you are talking to usually? Do you have one of those smart things that Amazon is producing? No one? Someone? Okay. Do you know that they're not just tracking workers, but they also record whatever you say? And these data are stored somewhere. And there are like tons of studies about this conversation because they need to train the algorithm behind. What do you think?
But that's just for like marketing purposes. I mean, it's like the same as Samsung. They are not actually listen to what you are saying just for like keywords to target you with some commercials and stuff.
Actually, there are a bunch of studies of people listening to conversation, and many times they actually hear situation with violence or sex situation, whatever, because Alexa is recording, so it's not very true. So, like, you can find lots of paper, lots of studies with people actually targeting this kind of data that they are storing. So you were talking about sustainability with workers. What do you think about sustainability with customers?
It's the same thing. If you don't want this product, you just don't buy it.
No.
I mean, if you are afraid of Amazon Alexa, you don't buy it.
But many people don't know it.
I mean,
They do not know that they are recording.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they
it's
read
somewhere
content
stated in the
before,
whatever.
installing their device. So actually, I mean, it's like when you buy your phone. There is a big contract and you just put accept. That, I mean, even in the policy of Instagram, there written that you cannot put nuclear stuff with their algorithm. But I mean, I accept.
So basically, that's your problem as a customer, and that's your problem as a worker. You just.
By the end of the day, me, I'm using the product. I want the product. I want to benefit from the product. But what if you use the information for your other intentions, like malicious intentions?
in
At
life
the end
there
of-
are some
Aren't we
drawbacks,
off
but-
topic right now? So what are we talking about? The product about?
You were just not attentive.
I think we're a bit.
Yeah, we are.
So let's share a statement regarding workers. Well, I would say that Amazon maybe makes a difference between skilled workers and, let's say, lower skilled workers. I think this is something which happened. I would say on this that you are all, or you will be all skilled workers. So in your case, you are pretty lucky, because if you enter Amazon, you will be able to go there maybe as an engineer. And going to work to Amazon as an engineer is big money. I tell you, it's big money. And some of you maybe have the chance to go there. In any case, I would say that it's very relevant for the course itself, that we all share the fact that despite you are a highly skilled worker, or you are a lower skilled worker, rights on work are equal for all. Because otherwise, we go into troublesome direction. It's not because you are skilled, you have more rights. If you are skilled, you can have higher wage, higher perks, because you are very good at it. And so you can scale up the company. You need the soldiers and you need the generals in all companies. Remember this. In your path, maybe you are going to be generals, because you will go out from the university with skills that allows you to become generals, even in Amazon. But we should remember that the rights on work should be equal to all. Otherwise, we go into troubles. This is something that I think all teams should be the baseline. Okay, then there can be non-skilled works that likes to do the guy in the factory for the whole life. This is very good for them if they have a good health and they are able to work that. They accept that. Is fair. Is more than fair. Is good for them. A company like Amazon who gives job is a company that is giving jobs. So nothing to say. So this is an absolute. Is not in favor of any of the two things, but a company that is able to give to the workers the work, and the workers are happy with what they are doing, being the guy that brings around the packages in the factory, or being them the engineers who design Alexa, is two different type of works, but this is something like that. I let you keep discussing on this. I don't know your opinions. If you would ever work as a this is I would say I provoke a bit. If you would like to work for Amazon both as a skilled worker or a not skilled workers, but this is something that you think about yourself, or you have maybe other questions to raise.
I would like to add that we are focusing only on one part of Amazon, but Amazon is very big, so they are offering not only the physical job, but there are other hundreds of different jobs. So
that are going to disappear because Amazon made them close, like.
No, because I'm talking about inside Amazon. So inside Amazon, if they are developing technology, this means that some people will have to develop this technology. So I think there is a shift from physical labor in general to more something like engineering or technical labor, and that is also a big part that we are not talking about right now. But if you think about in the future, the physical labor, I think it's going to be only a much smaller part. So if Amazon is able to take this step, as it started to do now in a very innovative way, this would solve the problem basically.
I have a question about workers in general, not just the one doing heavy work. We discussed a couple of months ago about the structure of the company and about the role of the workers. So for example, I remember we were talking about Googlers, IBMers, so on and so forth. So if you can please check what is the structure of the company, if there are these concepts of we are or Amazoners or whatever, and this kind of stuff.
It's out of topic.
It's out of topic, yes.
Okay.
Well, please go.
I have a question. If I understood right, during your presentation, you said something along the line like Amazon is introducing technology in the workplace to improve working conditions. Do you really believe this is the reason why they are doing it, or is it for replacing the workforce?
I think the objective of adding new technology is to provide a better service in general. So if they remove workforce, at the same time they have new jobs. So the number of people, if you move it from one place to the other, they're always working for Amazon. Yeah. Then I also want to answer to what he said. He said that Amazon is closing retail shops to close. And I think that if a retail shop is not adding value to a product, I don't think he deserves to survive in this era. Yeah, because if you don't add any value to the product, you just don't make sense to exist on the market.
Yeah, okay, that's true, but yeah, on this side, you talked about the antitrust, right? I mean, I can see the point of talking about antitrust because what Amazon is going to do is to create a monopoly. So basically, I didn't understand that part.
Okay, that I can only answer this. If they really wants to create such a thing, the people won't let them do. The FTC is constantly observing big corporations.
Yeah, but you were talking about the Clayman Act, right? Or the Clayman?
Yeah, Clayton.
Clayton, sorry. It has been introduced to enforce the Sherman Act, because the Sherman Act didn't prevent the Standard Oil to become so big. We didn't choose Standard Oil for a case because we chose it because it's one of the first case of big monopolies in the world, and they developed the Clayman Act, okay, because the Sherman Act was not enough to stop them.
No,
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's true.
The Sherman Act, the problem with the Sherman Act was it wasn't so clear that what is illegal. So basically, the companies don't know
That's
what is illegal.
what I'm saying.
That's why they created Clayton. And you are talking about 50 years ago. There are lots of things happened during this time.
Yeah,
I cannot talk
in
about
fact.
every aspect of it.
But when they created the Sherman Act, they thought there was enough to stop every monopoly to be to
Actually,
take
it's
place.
exactly the opposite, because the companies want to be for the lawyers wants to know a law is not so clear. They just want to add something to help the company, not to prevent the company from doing that, because the companies won't create a monopoly anymore, because they know if they create a trust with the others, they will disappear.
They're not creating trust. They're killing all the other markets. That's
No,
the
they are
point.
not. How much is the market share of the Amazon in the whole US retail sales?
It's like 20%, more or less.
No. After end of the 2020, it will become 50%.
Okay. What was it in
50%.
2007? What was in 2007 or 2009?
1%.
Can you see
Okay.
how much is growing up?
No, wait. Actually, there is one more thing, but it's off topic. I don't want to get into it. But Amazon is changing their business model. If you think that this will grow, no, this won't. Because Amazon is shifting from
On which basis?
selling products to the service oriented. So basically, we cannot talk about services. But the market is different.
But we have to stick with what we have. We can't use as data something that has yet to happen.
What?
We can't use as data something that has to happen. I mean, Samsung, maybe Amazon is saying that it will change its business model, but it has yet to do it. Yeah, actually, right now.
Actually, it has done it, but you're not. Actually, we can explain what you said about the incoming and the things. They are putting more money into technologies to invest.
Those are
in
data from
services,
2019.
but-
They are the most updated data that we can rely on. 2018.
Okay, but how much? First, wait. The antitrust issue. There isn't a problem with the antitrust issue.
Actually, Amazon is under investigation in different countries by different antitrust agencies.
Okay,
So
but
there
will
is
they
some
be
antitrust
What?
issue.
Okay, it's under investigation. It means it doesn't mean that Amazon have done something wrong.
Yeah,
actually,
they are
actually-
suspicious to something.
Actually, yes, has been condemned, and Amazon has been condemned, I think, in France,
In Japan.
and in Canada, I think, or something. I don't remember, but France and Japan for sure. So some kind of issue actually is probably there because.
For example, the Clayman Act has been developed. It's the first application on a federal law, okay, in the U.S. Like a federal law in the market in the market field in the U.S. I mean, I'm not talking about like murders or other things. And it's the first because nobody expected a company like Standard Oil to grow up that much. The fact that we don't have antitrust, a global antitrust organization, institution, call it as you want, doesn't mean that they are not doing that. And if they are going to keep expanding like they are doing, and they are keep investing for expanding in that way, they will put out all the company out of the.
I think that this is also it's not a problem only related to Amazon. It's a problem which is about the policy of the companies that sell the products that other businesses sell on Amazon. So if you have a big company that doesn't want to sell on Amazon at let's say a low price to kill the competitors, they just decide to do this and they're out of this game. So this is a problem because we are the companies before Amazon want to sell as much as possible. That is the problem. It's not Amazon. Amazon is just offering their service. That's it.
Yeah, but why did for example, in last year, in the international sales, Amazon lost $2 billion.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Why they are a charity institution?
They lost. They lost. You mean 2 billion?
I mean,
on the total or on the?
Yeah, they didn't have an income. They got a loss, and the loss is $2 billion.
Yes, that is probably because they don't want to pay taxes. Probably they just do loss and don't pay taxes.
But how can
companies
a company
do this? Even small companies do this.
How can a company survive on the market if every day it goes on loss? Every year, sorry, it goes on loss?
Because if you are investing a lot of money, you will have a period of loss. Because if you invest billions,
yeah,
it's likely that for 1 or 2 years you will have a loss, then you will regain.
They are doing this in such like 20 years from they started.
They also, I mean, we are only looking at the e-commerce, but we have to see the big picture.
Yeah, but I mean, e-commerce was the topic. Yeah.
Yes, I understand, but if you talk only about e-commerce, our Amazon is selling many things. So they rely on income on many things.
But they rely on this thing like AWS, as we saw, to keep a competitive price on the products they sell. And that's the strategy that every company in the past used to create a monopoly. That's what I'm saying. You can't say that there is absolutely no possibility to create a monopoly for Amazon.
I want to read. Sorry, I interrupt this a bit. It's going to be longer just to try to. We will do now a 5 minutes break because we want the audience to refresh 5 minutes a bit and come inside with more questions. We didn't see you very active. We have to ask them more and challenge them more. One question that I have to the two of you, two teams. So, to Team Sustainable Amazon, don't you think all people, sorry guys, sorry, thanks, you should come back after and tell me, are you sure that Amazon is trying to diverge from the selling and logistics, from the e-commerce, going towards Amazon services, Prime, such kind of things, or videos, because they are scared that another Rockefeller-style company is going to crash their e-commerce part, so someone will take their e-commerce part and will put it into several companies, and so Amazon will need to concentrate more on this added value type of services, Amazon, AWS or Prime or such kind of things. So this is the question for you. Question for you is, again on this, you mentioned this oil company from Rockefeller. Are you sure that nowadays, with the shortcuts that there are between politicians and big companies, there will be the same policy that was used 1 century ago with oil company? So how would you? Did you got the question? So there are a lot of ties. So a lot of politicians now are becoming friends with these big companies, and they're trying to support. US is even pushing his economic power, and they want to have the world supremacy. They are fighting against China to maintain the supremacy. Are we sure that US will implement any kind of policy against one of their companies, which is worldwide a top company, so to make the US business less strong? Are you sure that this could happen? So reason on this. And now 5-minute break to other people. Thank you. Okay, guys, we have not too many minutes, so question for you. People from Battle 6 should stay in this classroom after. So at 4:30 they need to stop because there is Battle 6 preparation, okay? And also critical minds. So, okay, I think I gave you a couple of questions. I don't know if you want to answer immediately or we open up.
I want to add something that is related to the topic.
Please, add.
So I want to make clear that Amazon is not effectively selling directly the products, are the companies that sell through Amazon, and they just have a percentage on the item that is sold. And regarding the profit thing, we think that Amazon has on the e-commerce has a small profit because most of the income they invested in technology, and for this reason they have only a net profit which is small, but that is true for every company that invests a lot of money. So I think this is kind of normal to see. It's not something strange. That's it.
Okay. Any counter comment, or we open up to the?
Okay, he's saying that.
After this, we close and we give to the audience.
Okay, he's saying that it's companies that use Amazon to sell. For example, if I buy something on Amazon right now, I will not say that. Maybe I will not even know which company posted it or which company is using Amazon.
You know, because when you buy something from Amazon, you can choose from a list of resale companies, and you choose the one you want.
By the end of the day, so long as it's on the Amazon site.
Yes, because Amazon is an e-commerce. It's purpose. And I would also want to add one thing, that if the companies were not making any profit on Amazon, they would not sell on Amazon. So if they don't have interest, they just remove the product. So if you have a company that sells stuff and you sell it on Amazon but you don't have profit, just don't sell it.
67%.
Open your own website. Sell on your website.
67% of products are sold by Amazon.
Yes, because Amazon has a lot of.
So it's not true that most of the products are sold by a third-party seller. However, we show that many times third-party seller has been abused by Amazon, forcing them to use the logistics system of Amazon to deliver the package, the goods, whatever you want, instead of choosing their own.
Abuse not in the UK meaning.
Yeah, okay.
The problem arises when a company is relying completely on Amazon, so they are playing by the rules. So if a company is relying on Amazon and Amazon doesn't want to work with them, it's fine.
I can understand it, but there is a sentence that says that of the U.S. Justice Department that says that that's not legal. That they condemned Amazon for this. I mean, it can seem a minor thing, but it's not.
Yeah, it wasn't the third-party company that chose to use Amazon logistics system. It was Amazon that was forcing the third-party company to use Amazon system.
Or they were out of the market.
No, they are not forcing them. If they don't use Amazon, they just sell less because they don't have the power of Amazon.
For that. They have been condemned in the past for that. Maybe they are not longer doing this, I don't know, but in the past there is a condemned from, I don't know which organization, which American organization, but there is an article that exactly states that.
In the past.
Yeah.
In the past.
We are talking about future.
Yes. Question from the audience. Oh, we see a question
the
there.
answer was a bit smoky, but
okay. So please raise your hands and tell us.
I have a question for the counterpart of Amazon.
So unsustainable, just to and sustainable. These are the two names that we give them. Please.
I was checking the reference about the working conditions of Amazon employees. and I noticed that all the references are about US working conditions.
Okay.
And I was curious about what happens in EU.
In Europe?
Yes.
Yes, this is interesting, and there is this. I take the chance of your question to talk about the Essex, the UK pilot that they are doing in the factory in UK. So that they are trying to advance. Is this an isolated pilot? I just turn a question then to them and then I let them answer. Are they turning into a more diffused approach, or is it a pilot which will be closed by itself and then...
No, they are doing this to prove that they are improving their conditions. And I also want to add something.
And they are going so to use the same approach if they see that worker conditions are improving.
They are opening to the public the facility so they can see.
But also Piacenza facility or other facilities in Europe will benefit from this trial, or it will be mine is a devil question, or is it a marketing type of piloting?
I cannot read the mind of the managers. So
yes. No, but can you check if this is something that they want to? I'm challenging you.
Can I add just one thing before I close? That they said that Amazon is paying the lowest possible wage per hour. It's not true, because in US
it's not true. No.
It's 7.
Say that.
We let him finish.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So they agree that is not true. That is the lowest wages. Okay. Okay. You can answer his question.
Basically, there are also articles in other languages, like Italian articles that describe the situation in Italy. But we focused on American, on American English speaking American articles because it's in America in English and.
We didn't put the Italian reference.
Yeah, we found also a lot of more materials because there is, well, in America there is a lot of, I don't know the English translation of the Italian giornalismo d'inchiesta. That
inquiry.
Yeah, inquiry journalism. That in which basically journalists managed to get hired by Amazon in the warehouses and brought directly their story. So we found
those sites.
Yeah, the American articles to be way more precise and better in general. I hope I have answered.
Okay. Other questions? One down there. Yeah.
For Amazon sustainability and regarding the future of Amazon, because we cannot talk about Amazon without thinking of the future, in my opinion. And so now you said that the worker condition and other things regarding your policies in general are okay, absolutely. But what about the future? In a sense, how can I be sure that in the future, when Amazon will maybe get the, don't know, 90 or 100% of the market, what will happen? I'm not sure that the things will remain the same. Also, imagine that now the condition of the workers or other things are okay. Imagine this, but in the future, who assure me this, please?
Okay, I want to answer you in two parts. So the first part, Amazon will never get 100% of the market, so that is for sure, because otherwise Amazon, they kill it immediately.
90%.
Why not?
Because of antitrust. If they get 100% of the market, they...
Okay, imagine a 9% of the market. Yeah, not 100%, but...
What I can tell you what Amazon is doing now. So we checked now on the Amazon website, and you can book a visit to how many warehouses? I mean, there is a huge list of warehouses. I mean, I think there are around 40 or 50 warehouses where you can book and go there and see the working conditions of. So what I think is Amazon doing in the future, to answer your question, is they are trying to be more transparent, because they had a past which was a bit, let's say, bad. So they try to prove themselves as a possible, to prove that they have solutions for their problems. So what I'm seeing is that they have a problem. It's fine. Let's solve it. That's what we want. We want to solve the problem to have everything that works fine. That's it.
Not sure of this, because when the market will grow in general, and has more power, and the people in general tends to work in Amazon because there are a lot of there's a place you can work because they need workers in general.
Yes.
In general, the conditions will not go in a better direction in general, no? Because when you have the power, I don't know if you can understand my question.
You are saying that if Amazon grows more, people will be treated worse?
Maybe the condition will not remain the same.
That's the problem of antitrust. That won't happen because companies don't want to get in the problem with the antitrust issue. You know, these days, I want to read a quote from the investigator of the FTC that basically investigates on all of these antitrust issues. So there is only two things that the company should consider. It doesn't matter how much the company is big. These two things. First, we should check if the Amazon price for those is not too much expensive, and also they have other options. That's the only thing. People in the Amazon, people who are buying things from Amazon or selling things from Amazon should have other options, and the services that they are receiving from Amazon, that should be fair, not too much expensive. That's all.
I also want to add something that you can see also the flip coin of your problem. So you can say, okay, Amazon is getting big, so it has also some advantages. So Amazon is also offering some occasional jobs. So if you want to deliver packages on a Saturday, you don't have nothing to do. You just go to their website, you sign a contract, and for one day you just do deliveries and you get paid for what you do. So I can say that probably it's offering more opportunities than bad stuff. It's an opportunity for everyone.
Okay. Other questions? Come on. You can do better. Any curiosity? You're not curious, for example, what the other delivery company does, or if the treatment of Amazon in their factory is different from any other logistic company? You're not curious?
Which are the competitors? Like, first of all, which are the competitors of Amazon? And
Amazon is not a very important company in all the countries in the world, but for example in America and Europe it's very used, but for example in Eastern Europe or other countries it's not very used. There are many competitors online, and also as I said before, eBay, there is eBay.
eBay got 6.6% out of 49.1% of Amazon.
That was US based or US based? Okay.
In other countries it's very different, it's the contrary.
You have like worldwide statistics?
Yeah.
I don't have the statistics.
Okay. One question from the audience. Let's catch it until it's there.
What you are saying is that if someone is successful is bad, but that is not a logical connection.
No.
Okay. You have 40% of the
for
market
sure, US market is different from worldwide market.
The point is that you're saying that there is no chance of Amazon getting a monopoly, and that's not true. That's not true. You can say that. I mean, the policy they are creating are the same identical policies that other monopolies.
Not in China.
No will stop it.
I would like to add one thing.
Not in China. Please.
Hold a second, please. Standard Oil was not a monopoly in all the United States. In some areas, it had other competitors, and in those areas, it maintained low prices and good services. It was in the other areas where it had no competition, where it increased prices, and it expanded its margins. So, saying that Amazon saying that Amazon is not a monopoly because, for example, in other states there are other services that can compete, it's not quite right, because if in the US and in Europe, like you said, it's practically the sole operator, in those market, it has monopoly. It's not that you have to be the only company in the entire world to have monopoly. You can have monopoly on single continent, on single countries, on single states, on single cities.
Okay, that was clear. We want to collect one question because we are going towards the end. Please.
If you can tell us what Amazon is doing to improve the work condition of their employees.
They have a clear answer?
They're opening their warehouses. I mean, how many times do I have to repeat this?
Okay, they're opening warehouses. How many? For example, the question I did you before on the pilot that they are doing in UK.
Yes.
Is this something?
Yes, I told
is this something that you can
There is a
explain?
list where you can choose the warehouse. We checked for Amazon in the United States, and there is a list. You just compile the module and you decide where to go. And you can see inside.
Okay, you can decide where you go and work. No, but this
and see, not as a worker. You just look inside the warehouse.
Okay, so you can look also in this Essex factory, and you can see how they are evolving the worker conditions.
You can see the workers doing the part.
And you have an example that they are doing in this pilot project in UK. For example, shorter working hours or anything you could mention.
They are using more and more automation. And for example, robots. They have treat for robots inside.
So to avoid pains and such kind of things.
And also some stuff fall down on the street of the roads. We have safety clothes that have sensor that.
Okay, I think that was. I don't know. That was an answer, I would say. I don't know if you have further. That was. If you have further.
Automatization, if they. But this is a question that maybe is too far. Because, for example, Elon Musk talked about this. In fact, inside their company, Tesla company, they use a lot of robots and so on and so forth. Basically, the people that are working there in local for a few months are engineers. But on the other side, he was pointing out the fact that in the moment that you are going to put a lot of robots inside your company, and so the TV work is not anymore available for people, you have to invest in structure to make people acquire skills. So I don't require an answer because I know that maybe it's too far, but if Amazon is trying to do something similar.
Yes.
Okay.
In the US, they are investing to retrain 1/3 of the employees.
So they apply lifelong learning. Thank you. Lifelong learning. Okay. We are going towards the end. So I would have a sort of small question to you related. We need to close. So you will have 2 minutes each, 1 minute each to close in a few seconds. One question to you about environmental issues or sustainability. So climate change. They have this project of going into zero carbon impact in 2030 or 2040. This is related to only the company Amazon or to the whole logistics. So is the whole value chain also bringing you the package at home, or only what is within the factory of Amazon? Because when you exit the factory, you have a lot of pollution given from transport. So if this project was the whole value chain, production to home, to customer home, or it was only within the factories of
we have to check about the last part, which is the delivery, but I think it's also included.
It's included the logistic part, so
yes.
giving the package to the final customer.
Yes, we are buying also electrical cars.
Okay, electrical car for last time.
Okay. About this part, we already showed that Amazon address a problem only when an inquiry comes out, and for this part I will wait to 2040 to check if it's really true.
We need some time to decide sooner.
Of course, but for example, Amazon batteries are less less recyclable than the normal batteries.
Okay.
Like the standard basic.
Okay, now it's clear and we need to close. So short question, if you have a short answer on your side, if you have. Please.
Out of topic.
Out of topic. Okay, that's the answer.
So our part is just to defend, because our position is, just defend.
Yeah, okay. We have no time to counterattack. But well, there was a good discussion, I would say. 1 minute, 1 minute each of you to make the conclusion, and then we cast the vote. So please, one of you.
Who goes first?
Who wants to go first?
It's the same.
So you can start as they started before. You start, and then they follow. 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Okay, remember, faster, cheaper delivery always comes with a cost to human and the environment. Now, considering a company that is a monopoly, of which it's offering very low cost, but later you have to pay for the cost of you getting a cheaper product in future. It offers very low prices to its employees. Employees work without any comfort just because they don't have privacy. I have to move with a surveillance on my hand everywhere I work. So, considering such a company, what do you think will happen in future? It's pushing so many other retail shops out of business. That means they'll become unemployed. Now, what do you say about such a company? Do you think it will be sustainable? As you enjoy Good Friday, as you enjoy Black Friday, remember the story of Bob and Alice. Thank you.
Please. Be bold.
So we would like to say that we think that Amazon has, in the past, did some bad things, but what is most important for us is to understand that they are addressing the issues, and that is required to become a company that is successful in the long run. And we think that Amazon is going to be for a long time a success, and it has proven in this last 20 years. So I let you decide what to vote. We are free guys, so do whatever you want, and I thank also my competitors for the amazing battle, and that's it.
Time to cast the votes. So, tinyurl.com, and the last two is CY. So, S9BVQCY. Cast your vote, please. Final question is, what about Amazon? Is it sustainable or not? Sustainable versus unsustainable. Wow, interesting. Who is missing the cast? Who didn't vote yet? Okay, other 30 seconds. Please be fast. It's not working.
No.
You cannot vote. Leave the mobile phones. Hands on the table. Hands up. So, who is missing? The other people, who did vote? Who did vote? Okay, most of you. Who didn't? Not just to know. Only you. The other people did? Don't feel under pressure. We have a few seconds more. In the meantime, I also tell all the class that next Tuesday, 1 week from now, we will have a pizza all together. So we will tell you the place, but who wants to have a pizza with the INE Basics teaching team and colleagues from INE Basics? We will recap in a pizzeria. Last year was Grotta. This year we decided if it's Grotta again. So next Tuesday, 6 days from now, 7 days from now, there will be this pizza together. People who want to join, students who want to join will join, the other feel free to go and have parties. Basta? Ready? And the winner is... It's not working. Done. And the winner is... Unsustainable. Very hard battle. So, well done. Guys, you deserve it.